The Daily Code Snippet. An M is a unit equal to the current point size of a typeface. So if our typeface is 16 points, then 1 M is 16 points. So no matter what typeface we are using, 1 M is 16 points. An M dash would be 1 M wide. It is called an M because it referenced a capital M in the typeface whose size was typically the same as the point size. When using metal type, the point size was equal to the height of the metal body from which the letter rises. A given letter could not exceed the M. The letter M was generally cast the full width of the square blocks or M quads. Here is an illustration of metal type so you can visualize an M. However, when type went digital, an M became arbitrary as a given typeface designer can determine settings. However, a typical digital font will have a cap height of 70% of an M and an X height of 48% of the M. This is a reminder of the typographic terms described. If we take a font and set it on a baseline, the cap height is the distance between the baseline and the top of the capitalized letters. Letters with ascenders, such as a lowercase b, will have a height that extends above the cap height, while letters with descenders, like a lowercase y, will descend below the baseline. The X height is literally the height of the letter X. This is important because fonts that have tall X heights are more legible at small font sizes because of the amount of white space around the letter forms. When using CSS, an M is a scalable unit of size that is relative to the font size of its parent element. So if you set the font size to 16 pixels, then 2M is 2 times the font size, or 32 pixels. M's can also be used for other properties other than those related to typography. So you could set a padding of 2 M's, which would also be 32 pixels. Because the size became dependent on the parent element, another system was developed called Rem, or root M. A Rem is also a scalable unit of size, but it is only relative to the root font size set for the HTML document. In this case, we set the root font size for the document and determine size as relative to the root M. To understand the difference, here we have HTML code. We have a section with an ID of section 1, and within that section, we have a H3 heading element that says this section header is 40 pixels, and a P element that says this paragraph text is 16 pixels. Now, on the next slide, we have CSS. HTML body, we have set the font size to 16 pixels. Section, font size is 20 pixels. H3, font size to M. P, font size 1 rem. We use 16 pixels as the root HTML font size to reflect the standard size we determine from the points to pixels conversion. However, we can set this to whatever we want. The size of the P text will be 16 pixels, or 1 times the root element font size of 16 pixels. The font size of the HTML document. The size of the H3 text will be 40 pixels, or 2 times the font size of the parent element, which is section that has a font size of 20 pixels. Presented by Designers Learn Code.